There comes a moment in life when you look around and realize no one is coming to save you. The phone stops ringing, the support disappears, and the people who once promised to stay fade into silence. It's in that moment of raw loneliness, that burning ache in your chest, where true strength is born. You see, walking alone isn't a punishment, it's a test. Life strips away the noise so you can finally hear your own voice. When you walk alone, you meet the real you, the version that doesn't quit, that doesn't beg for validation, that doesn't need applause to move forward. The path is brutal. You'll doubt yourself. You'll question everything, but every step you take in solitude builds an armor that no one can break. While others seek comfort, you'll chase growth. While they sleep, you'll grind. While they doubt, you'll rise. Because walking alone is not loneliness, it's evolution. One day, those who left you behind will watch in silence as you stand tall, unshaken, unstoppable. The world respects strength, not sympathy. So walk alone, bleed if you must, but never stop, because that's how legends are made. Solitude reveals true strength, not because it's easy, but because it exposes the truth about who you are when the world turns its back on you. When you're surrounded by people, it's easy to feel powerful. It's easy to pretend you're confident, disciplined, and driven when there's an audience clapping for your every move. But when the noise fades, when the fake smiles vanish, and when it's just you and your thoughts, then reality hits. Solitude strips away your mask. It removes every layer of comfort and illusion, leaving you face to face with your weaknesses, your fears, your insecurities, and your true potential. Most people can't handle that. They run from silence because silence speaks louder than any crowd. It tells you exactly what you've been avoiding. It reminds you of the goals you abandoned, the promises you broke, and the strength you've yet to claim. But for those who choose to stay, who embrace solitude instead of fleeing it, something incredible happens. You stop depending on the world to fuel your motivation. You learn to light your own fire. You start realizing that power doesn't come from external validation. It comes from internal mastery. When you walk alone, every victory, no matter how small, belongs entirely to you. Every lesson, every bruise, every sleepless night becomes a brick in the fortress of your mind. You learn to enjoy the grind, not for recognition, but for transformation. You stop caring about being understood because you understand yourself. Solitude becomes your training ground, your forge, where your mind hardens and your spirit sharpens. It's where you discover discipline that doesn't need applause, consistency that doesn't need an audience, and confidence that doesn't rely on compliments. You realize that being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is when you crave company. Solitude is when you are yourself. The world glorifies teamwork, relationships, and community. And yes, they matter. But if you cannot stand strong alone, you will crumble when the crowd disappears. Strength is not tested when things are easy. It's proven when no one is watching and you still choose to push forward. Think about it. Every great warrior, leader, and visionary spent seasons of isolation. They didn't rise because they were surrounded by people. They rose because they used solitude as a weapon. They learned patience, focus, and resilience when the world doubted them. You too must learn that silence is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. In solitude, you start to hear your own thoughts clearly. You begin to separate your dreams from other people's expectations. You realize how much time you wasted seeking approval from those who never believed in you. Solitude teaches you that you don't need permission to rise. It makes you immune to rejection because you understand that your value isn't determined by someone else's recognition. It's defined by your ability to keep moving regardless of who's watching. There's a certain power in walking into darkness alone and knowing you'll find your way out. It builds a fire that can't be extinguished by failure or fear. That's why solitude is sacred. It purifies you. It burns away the weakness, the dependency, the excuses. It makes you face the truth that no one will do the work for you. No one will fight your battles. No one will hand you your dreams. You either build them with your own hands or you spend your life envying those who did. Solitude forces you to take responsibility. You can't blame distractions. You can't rely on motivation. You can't point fingers. It's just you, your vision, and the grind. And when you emerge from that season of isolation, you're unrecognizable. You move differently, think differently, and live differently. The things that once broke you now fuel you. The doubts that once haunted you now push you further. You don't seek validation anymore. You are the validation. The world starts to see your results, but they'll never understand the nights you spent alone building them. They'll call it luck, talent, or timing, but you'll know it was solitude that made you unbreakable. So When life isolates you, don't panic. Don't drown in loneliness. Breathe, stand tall, and walk alone with pride, because that's where strength is born. Not in the crowd, not in comfort, but in the quiet moments where only you can hear the sound of your own determination echoing through the silence. Pain is the foundation of power, because nothing strong is ever built without struggle. Every scar, every heartbreak, every failure, every sleepless night, it all forges the version of you that no comfort could ever create. Pain doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to wake you up. It shakes the illusions, breaks the weakness, and reveals the truth about who you are and how far you're willing to go. Most people run from pain. They avoid it, numb it, hide from it, and then wonder why they never grow. But the ones who face it, who embrace it, who let it burn through them, they evolve. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It teaches you humility when you think you know everything. It teaches you strength when you feel helpless. It teaches you focus when you're surrounded by chaos. Pain strips you of the fake layers that comfort builds, and what's left is raw, pure, unstoppable resilience. That's where power begins. You can't build real power without pain, because comfort breeds complacency. When everything is easy, you have no reason to fight, no need to adapt, no drive to push. Pain forces you to rise or collapse. It presents you with a choice: stay broken or build yourself stronger than before. And in that decision lies your transformation. Every powerful person you've ever admired has walked through fire. They didn't get there by avoiding difficulty. They embraced it. They turned their pain into purpose, their losses into lessons, and their suffering into strength. That's the secret most people don't understand. Nights spent working when everyone else is resting. It's the heartbreak that teaches you self-worth. It's the rejection that fuels your determination. It's the failure that forces you to evolve. Every setback you faced was not a punishment. It was preparation. The universe doesn't hand power to the untested. You earn it by enduring. You prove your worth by refusing to give up when everything hurts. Pain refines your vision. When you're broken, you start to see what truly matters. You stop chasing validation. You stop caring about opinions, and you start focusing on growth. You begin to understand that every painful experience was sculpting you for a higher version of yourself. Pain is not random, it's intentional. It enters your life when you're ready to transform. The moment you stop seeing pain as a curse and start seeing it as a call to rise, everything changes. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. That mindset shift turns suffering into power. You become unstoppable because you no longer fear the struggle. You welcome it. You understand that pain is temporary, but the power it creates lasts forever. The most beautiful thing about pain is that it reveals a strength you didn't know you had. It introduces you to your limits and then dares you to break them. You realize that the worst days were the ones that taught you the most. You start to thank the pain, not resent it, because without it, you wouldn't be who you are. Without it, you'd still be living small, thinking weak, and doubting yourself. Pain forces you to grow, to evolve, to become someone worthy of the dreams you're chasing. So when pain knocks on your door, don't hide. Open it. Let it teach you. Let it burn away your fears, your excuses, your weakness. Because every ounce of pain you endure is fuel. It's building something stronger within you. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize the moments that broke you were the very moments that built you. Pain was never your enemy. It was your foundation. It didn't come to stop you. It came to forge your power. Growth demands discomfort because nothing extraordinary is ever born in comfort. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It makes you believe you're safe when you're actually stuck. It whispers lies in your ear, telling you that you've done enough, that you can rest, that you're fine where you are. But deep down, you know that's not true. You know there's more inside you waiting to come out, but it can't be unleashed until you're willing to step into discomfort. Growth is not a pretty process. It's messy, painful, and often lonely. It requires you to challenge everything familiar, to leave behind old habits, toxic people, and limiting beliefs. Discomfort is the price of progress. Every time you feel uneasy, uncertain, or afraid, that's a sign you're expanding. Your mind and body resist change because they crave safety. But safety doesn't create greatness. Resistance does. Just like muscles grow when you're torn and rebuilt. Your character grows when you push through discomfort and rebuild yourself stronger. Most people stop at the first sign of difficulty. They quit when things get hard. thinking that the struggle means they're failing. But in truth, the struggle is the path. Discomfort is the signal that you're evolving. When you wake up early to chase your goals, even though you're exhausted, that's discomfort. When you say no to instant pleasure and yes to long-term purpose, that's discomfort. When you face rejection, but still keep going, that's discomfort. Every great person you admire has mastered the art of being uncomfortable. They learn to stay calm in chaos, to adapt when everything falls apart, and to grow when it hurts the most. Growth doesn't come to those who wish for it. It comes to those who are willing to suffer for it. The world rewards those who endure, not those who avoid. Discomfort sharpens your focus and teaches you patience. It forces you to stop chasing shore, T-cuts, and start trusting the process. It teaches you self-control because when you're uncomfortable, you have two choices, run or rise. Those who run live ordinary lives. Those who rise become extraordinary. The truth is, comfort zones feel good, but kill dreams. They keep you small, predictable, and safe, while discomfort pushes you toward the unknown where real transformation lives. You'll never know what you're capable of until you're pushed to your limits. Discomfort is your greatest ally because it exposes your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It humbles you, but it also empowers you. It forces you to adapt, to learn, and to evolve. Without it, you'd stay the same forever, and that's the real failure. Think about nature. Every seed must break apart to become a tree. Every caterpillar must struggle inside its cocoon to become a butterfly. Growth always involves pain and struggle because evolution demands change, and change is uncomfortable. The same rule applies to your life. The more you resist discomfort, the more you delay your potential. But the moment you accept that pain and pressure are necessary, everything changes. You stop fearing the grind. You stop avoiding the hard conversations, the risks, the failures. You start seeing them as part of your evolution. You begin to understand that growth is not supposed to feel easy. It's supposed to stretch you, challenge you, and transform you. Discomfort is the space between who you are and who you're meant to be. It's the bridge between the present version of you and the powerful version that's waiting on the other side. The more time you spend in discomfort, the stronger you become. You start to crave the challenge because it's the only place where you truly feel alive. Comfort becomes boring. Discomfort becomes your training ground. You begin to chase the things that scare you because you know that's where growth hides. Every new skill, every new mindset, every new success comes from enduring moments that test you. You stop needing motivation because discipline takes over. You realize that every uncomfortable moment is shaping you into someone unstoppable. And one day, the things that once scared you will become effortless, and you will look back and realize that discomfort didn't break you. It built you. It made you tougher, smarter, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. Growth demands discomfort because the universe doesn't hand power to the comfortable. It gives it to those who are willing to step into the unknown, to endure the pressure, to keep walking when it hurts. So, when you feel fear, anxiety, or doubt, don't run. That's growth knocking. Embrace it. Let it mold you. Let it teach you. Because in the end, comfort creates weakness, but discomfort creates warriors. Discipline outweighs validation because validation fades, but discipline endures. The cheers, the likes, the praise, all of it feels good for a moment, but it doesn't last. It doesn't build you. It doesn't make you unshakable. What truly shapes greatness is not what people say about you, but what you do when no one is watching. Discipline is the quiet force that turns ordinary people into legends. It's the strength to act with purpose even when no one applauds you for it. Validation is addictive. It feeds the ego, but it starves the soul. When you chase validation, you become a slave to approval. Your worth begins to depend on how others perceive you instead of what you truly are. But when you choose discipline, you break free from that trap. You stop needing external motivation because your drive comes from within. You don't need anyone to believe in you because your consistency becomes your belief. Discipline is lonely, repetitive, and often unappreciated, but that's why it's powerful. It doesn't rely on excitement. It relies on commitment. Anyone can work hard when it feels good, but real power is in showing up when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, uninspired, and unseen. Disciple. Ein is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to do it. Validation asks, who's watching? Discipline answers, I don't care. The world is full of people who start strong and fade when the applause stops. They only move when they're seen. They only fight when someone's cheering. But discipline doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need noise. It needs consistency. The most successful people you know aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the most disciplined. They understand that validation is temporary, but discipline compounds. Every day you stick to your purpose, even in silence. You build a foundation that no one can take away. Validation makes you feel good today. Discipline makes you great forever. Think about the gym, the grind, the craft. There are no cameras capturing your early mornings or late nights. No one claps when you resist temptation or when you choose focus over distraction. But those unseen moments build strength, character, and success. Teach. Irony is that the more disciplined you are, the less you need validation and the more validation you receive. The crowd eventually notices the one who kept working when everyone else quit. But by the time they notice, you don't need them anymore. You've already built yourself. Discipline gives you control over your destiny. Validation gives others control over you. Validation says, I need people to tell me I'm enough. Discipline says, I'll prove it through action. Validation dies in silence. Discipline thrives there. It's not glamorous. It's waking up early when your body wants rest. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It's saying no to distractions and yes to progress. It's not fun, but it's freedom, because discipline doesn't just create success. It creates peace. It eliminates guilt and regret, because you know you did what needed to be done. You can look in the mirror and respect yourself, not because others approve, but because you kept your word. Validation is a drug, but discipline is medicine. One gives you a quick high, the other heals you. One fades with time, the other builds legacy. People will always have opinions. They'll love you one day and doubt you the next. If you live for their approval, you'll die from their rejection. But if you live by discipline, no one's opinion can touch you. You'll move with quiet confidence, powered by self-respect instead of applause. Discipline is the difference between potential and achievement. Everyone has dreams, but only the disciplined make them real. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's the ability to do what others won't. It's sacrificing instant pleasure for long-term fulfillment. Discipline teaches you patience, resilience, and control. It reminds you that success isn't about how fast you reach it. It's about how long you can keep going without losing focus. Validation makes you chase the spotlight. Discipline makes you build your own light. And the truth is, people forget the words they ate about you, but they remember the results you created. Discipline creates results that speak louder than any validation ever could. So stop looking for approval. Stop waiting for someone to recognize your effort. Be your own witness. Be your own motivator. Let your work speak so loudly that validation becomes irrelevant, because when the noise fades and the lights go out, discipline will still be there, steady, loyal, and undefeated. Validation might give you applause, but discipline will give you power, peace, and purpose. And in the end, that's what truly lasts. Walking alone creates unbreakable confidence because it forces you to rely on nothing and no one but yourself. When you choose to walk alone, you strip away the comfort of support, the security of validation, and the illusion of dependency. You step into a space where the only voice guiding you is your own, and that's where true power begins. Most people fear being alone because they equate solitude with weakness. They thought NK strength comes from being surrounded, from having constant approval and attention. But the truth is, confidence that depends on others will always be fragile. It can be taken away the moment people leave. The confidence built in solitude, however, is eternal. It's forged in silence, in struggle, in the quiet nights where you doubt yourself but keep going anyway. When you walk alone, you're forced to become your own leader. You make your own decisions, face your own consequences, and carry your own weight. That responsibility breeds strength. You learn that you don't need permission to move forward. You don't need someone to tell you you're capable. You prove it to yourself every single day. The process is not easy. It's uncomfortable. It's heavy, and it often feels like no one understands you. But that's the beauty of it. Walking alone teaches you that understanding from others is optional, but understanding yourself is essential. You begin to discover who you truly are when the world goes quiet. You start to see your worth, not because someone praises you, but because you've endured what most people wouldn't. Every step you take alone builds a foundation of self-trust. You stop second-guessing yourself because you've seen your own strength in action. You've fallen, failed, and gotten back up without a hand to help you. And that creates a confidence no words can match. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. It's the calm belief that no matter what happens, you'll figure it out. You stop fearing loss because you've already survived alone. You stop fearing rejection because you no longer seek acceptance. You stop fearing uncertainty because solitude has already made you adaptable. Walking alone hardens your spirit. It turns pain into discipline and loneliness into focus. You begin to enjoy your own company, realizing that solitude isn't emptiness, it's empowerment. You no longer need noise to feel alive. Your purpose becomes your companion. You move differently. You talk differently. You think differently. The world starts to notice, not because you're loud, but because your silence carries power. People feel your energy because it's unshakable. You've built it brick by brick through independence. You stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. You stop trying to fit in and start standing out. The person who walks alone is the one who leads when the crowd gets lost. Society teaches dependence. It tells you to follow trends, to seek approval, to need others to feel enough. But confidence built in solitude breaks that illusion. You learn that everything you were searching for, validation, peace, strength, was inside you all along. Walking alone gives you clarity. You begin to see what truly matters, what's worth your time, and who deserves your energy. You stop tolerating mediocrity because you know what it costs to grow. You've walked through darkness, and now you protect your light. That kind of confidence can't be taught. It's earned through experience. It's earned through the nights you kept pushing when no one noticed, through the days you fought, battles no one understood, through the moments you cried in silence but refused to quit. Every tear, every scar, every lonely step added layers to your strength. That's why people who've walked alone don't need to prove themselves. Their presence speaks for them. Their confidence doesn't shout, it radiates. They don't crumble under pressure because they've already faced worse.